What's up, people? I'm here to bring you Call of Duty Ghost tips and tricks on how to get better, whether that be raise your KD or I don't know, just to get better at the game, I guess. Now, the first thing is it's pretty much blatantly obvious, this first tip, and that is just to simply play the game. And what I mean by that is practice. You know, everyone always told you when you were a little kid, most likely, that practice makes perfect, and it's true. It's not just some random saying that they were saying. It is true. And it's like anything. It's like any sport, you know, baseball, basketball, football, whatever. You know, you have to practice to get good at it. And if you don't do that, then you won't be good. That's just the facts. All right. Now, there are some exceptions. Kind of like me, but that's only because I've been playing, you know, since I could talk, basically. So I've been practicing basically my whole life. So yeah, there are exceptions, but most of the time you do need to practice. The second thing is watch Call of Duty players like Optic Scumpy and Proofy. Those two are about the only ones I watch, but even just with those two alone, I get a ton of information. Like, first off, you get in their head, and they're not just ordinary people, you know. They're like Call of Duty professionals. They're like Call of Duty robots, basically. And you can get in their head, and you're like, why did he go this way instead of that way? That was a good idea, you know, and stuff like that. You can sort of like get tips all by yourself, sort of from watching them, if that makes sense. If that doesn't, then blow that out the window and forget I ever said that. Another thing you pick up a lot from watching them is nooks and crannies. A lot of maps have like little spaces where you can see like halfway down the map, and it gives you a gigantic upper hand, especially when playing search and rescue or search and destroy, a game mode like that where it's very important to live and stuff like that. So you can get a lot out of watching them, and like I said, I only watch those two and I get a ton out of them. So the next one, and this is kind of optional, you know, it's just sort of like, you know, out there, but try to get control freaks if you can. I'm pretty sure they're only like $10, and you can go and get discounts from like anyone. Like I think Optic Scumpy gives discounts and stuff like that. So, you know, try getting your hands on some control freaks. For example, on Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I went from playing between an 8 and a 10 sensitivity to a 14 sensitivity. And let me just say right now, I can basically turn and beat out anyone in Black Ops 2. And I have like a really special gameplay proving that. But yeah, they are really good. They're not just for show, and they're really good. I'm genuinely saying that. I'm not like getting paid or anything. So they're good. You're gonna want to try to get your hands on those if you can, but if you can't, it's fine. Next thing is, and these three things kind of go together, and it's all about, you know, finding yourself in Call of Duty. And what I mean by that is like, okay, find your sensitivity. Like I said, I play on 14 on Black Ops 2, and Optic Scumpy played on 5 last time I heard, and that's about the only thing I heard from him. But last time I checked, he played on 5 sensitivity, and I play on 14. So we're like basically extremes of this spectrum. So like I said, you gotta find your sensitivity. Just play around with it, and believe me, you will know when you get that sensitivity, because when I did, it was like, this is it. This is my sensitivity, and I will dominate any kid with this sensitivity, because I was just so accurate that day I turned 14 on. I was just like laser beams, like just destroying kids. So find your sensitivity. Another thing is find your playstyle. And what I mean by that, a better term for that is kind of like play your gun And what I mean by that is if you're using a submachine gun, obviously you're not really going to want to sit back because that thing doesn't have that much range. You're definitely going to want to rush with the submachine gun. And if you're playing with an assault rifle, you're definitely not going to want to rush. You're going to want to sit back. And if you're sniping, you're not going to want to do either of those. You're just going to want to sort of like sit way back and pick them off. You know what I'm saying? So you got to sort of play your gun and don't just, I mean, you can rush with an assault rifle, but you know, just about like probably 8 times out of 10 you're gonna get beat out with a submachine gun. It's just not built to beat out a submachine gun unless you're like exceptionally good. So yeah, play your gun and stuff like that. And this is the last thing about finding yourself in Call of Duty. Play, you know, like find your own score streaks. If you're good, then run high, you know, score streaks. If you're not so good, run lower score streaks just so you get them. Don't try to be, you know, Mr. Hotshot and get, you know, run those really high score streaks if you're not gonna get them. Like, a lot of people run like Warthog and stuff like that. I think that's in, I'm pretty sure that's in Ghost. I'm not sure. But, you know, the really, like, Maniac, the Juggernaut, and all that crap. A lot of people run that, and they don't get it a lot. It's going to be a lot more beneficial for you to run low score streaks, like Dogs and Sentries and IMSs and stuff like that, if you're not so good. Because they will actually help you get kills instead of getting, like, you know, 1 out of 10 games getting a Maniac. That's not gonna, it's not gonna do anything. I mean, by all means do that if you want to, and then once you get it, you know, you'll feel good and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, if you want your KD to go up, you're definitely gonna wanna run lower score streaks. Alright, so that's it with that. And if this doesn't help you, then even if it does help you, play objectively. Because in my opinion, my personal opinion, being an objective player is one of the most important, you know, aspects in this game. And the reason being is because, well, obviously you help your team win and you're basically literally putting the team on your back. And B, there's just not that many of them out there, sadly enough. But there's just not, because they're all just kill whores, and I'm guilty of this at times. Like right now, I was playing the objective like crazy. But I do find myself a lot of the times, you know, kill whoring like crazy. And I don't know, I just don't, I really do enjoy objective players more than I enjoy kill whores. Just saying, if you are a kill whore, you know, do your thing. You know, you go out there and you just slay the other kids. That's fine. But I'm just saying, you know, objective players are very helpful, and you're going to want to be one if you can, because it really does help the team. Lastly, I left this for last, and this is really, really obvious, but not a lot of people do it. Check your UAV. If you're in a tight situation, like in search, and someone has a UAV up, you will definitely have the upper hand, because obviously you can see them. And if you're getting shot at and you're like behind a wall, you know, you're on red health, and maybe they have the upper hand and you see them on the map, you could possibly flank them and get the upper hand and, you know, win the round for your team and help them out. And it's just helpful to look at it in general. It doesn't have to be in search or when you're in sticky situations. You can just look at it, you know, see where the enemies are spawning or something like that, or where they are, and, you know, stuff like that. It's just helpful to do. And another really important thing about the UAV that not a lot of people know about, and I just found this out tonight, and anyways, it is, if there is a circle and an arrow that means that the player or the enemy or whatever is either above you or below you. So if you're in a building and you see that he's either above you or below you, and that way you're not freaking out like, oh my gosh, he's right next to me, he's right next to me. You know, you'll know where he is. He's either, you know, above you or below you. And not many buildings have 3 floors. So that's a very helpful tip in my opinion. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay and whatnot. And yeah, like I said, I hope this helped you. And if it did, please leave a comment on how it helped you and, you know, what was the most important tip or information you got out of this. And I will see you guys soon.